Because there's really no bigger national security this country is facing. Both President Obama and Governor Romney have said they will prevent Iran from getting a nuclear weapon, even if that means military action. Last week, former Defense Secretary Bob Gates said a strike on Iran's facilities would not work and, quote, could prove catastrophic, haunting us for generations.
I'd like to follow on that. When you talked about Iraq, you and others in the administration talked about a mushroom cloud. Then there were no WMD in Iraq. When it came to Iran, you said on October 17th, you warned about the prospect of World War III. When months before you made that statement, this intelligence about them suspending their weapons program back in 2003 had already come to light to this administration. So can't you be accused of hyping this threat, and don't you worry that undermines U.S. credibility?
David, I don't want to contradict an august reporter such as yourself, but I was made aware of the NIE last week. In August, Mike McConnell came in and said, we have some new information. He didn't tell me what the information was. He did tell me it was going to take a while to analyze. Why would you take time to analyze the information? Why do you want to make sure it's not disinformation?
And further protests being forcibly dispersed by police in Bahrain's capital during the Shia population's long struggle for equal rights in the kingdom. Live to London now, and the thoughts of geopolitical analyst Patrick Henningsen. Patrick, good to see you here on RT. Violent protests in Bahrain often fall off of the West's radar, and we've been seeing a lot of that. What needs to happen for them to take notice like they have in other countries?
The problem is that there's been a kind of a mainstream media blackout in the West regarding the situation in Bahrain. Already we've seen CNN's award-winning journalist, Amber Lyons. Her stories were blocked by CNN. So what you have there is a network, international network, that's controlled by Washington. So it's totally illegitimate as a media source. But that's one of the reasons why this has gone under the radar. The reason Washington has this policy with regards to Bahrain is because Bahrain is a key piece on the chessboard. Obviously, they're positioning themselves with the conflict with Iran in 2013, and the naval fleet of the United States is stationed in Bahrain.
President Barack Obama has signed an executive order to further tighten the financial screws on Iran and implement a new set of sanctions. And there is Tehran's nuclear program that claims to be in the crosshairs. Jalal Abdi, policy director for the National Iranian American Council, thinks the real target is ordinary citizens.
When has this administration hesitated to enact sanctions? Every 3 weeks you have new sanctions coming online. You do have a small number of lawmakers, and a growing number of lawmakers and pundits on the outside who are starting to come clean and say, actually, this is great when we see that ordinary people are suffering in Iran, when we see the currency devaluation that's hurting the middle class. And the reason they say this is great is because the sanctions aren't designed to address the nuclear issue. The sanctions are designed to topple the Iranian government.
Sanctions in the history of sanctions. Period.
Look where they are. They're moving faster toward a nuclear weapon. It's because this administration has no credibility on this. It's because this administration watered down sanctions, delayed sanctions, tried to stop us from putting the tough sanctions in place. Now we have them in place because of Congress. They say the military option's on the table, but it's not being viewed as credible. And the key is to do this peacefully. We should always stand up for peace, for democracy, for individual rights. When we say that these options are on the table, the Secretary of Defense walks them back to make sure that we have credibility. Under a Romney administration, we will have credibility on this issue. always stand up for peace, for democracy, for individual rights.